move on. But many people have asked me about how I fly these whirlybirds. So I thought I would answer. So this is only going to answer how I fly helicopters in the sim. That's all it's going to give you. And there is some really cool scenery. It's just the funnest stuff because this is a recreation of the hover control airport training facility. So if anyone started way back flight simming way back a while ago, there was a site called Hover Control where I got all my information and all my formative training. That's literally where I trained to fly in sims. They even had a certificate program where you could get a simulator certificate. Say that 3 times fast. You were a CFI at Hover Control? Were you really? Oh, that is so awesome. Yes. I'm trying to remember who I actually tested with. I think his name was Steve. I'm pretty sure his name was Steve. But that was a great program. That was a fantastic program. I mean, all we had was the FSX Bell 47. You know, something like this. It's all we had. But it taught me a lot because it was still helicopter-like. Steve Hanley. Is that you? Is that actually you? Because you if it is, you trained me how to fly helicopters. You literally trained me how to do this stuff. And I'm not going to do the hover control training. You took over after him. Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. That is so cool. So cool. Well, welcome. As always. Wow. Small world. I assumed there was still a lot of us around. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people in here, but that is great. That is fantastic. So if you download this scenery, you actually get the little training manual and the exercises you do that we did to get our certificate at Hover Control, which was a lot of fun. And it took me months. I mean, it took me a long time to learn. It's not an easy task. So they have really cool, these helipads with the arrows are an awesome hover practice place. Boy, there's a lot of tongue twisters in my stream announcements today. And I've got the music off so we can hear the helicopter and stuff. So it's helicopter because I'm doing training. And this area here is for basically doing the helicopter version of slow flight. But, you know, when I see them, of course, being this is Flights with Joel, I think the whirly twirly. All I can think is whirly twirly. Wish you could have it on Xbox helicopters. Wish we can. Well, I thought you had the Bell 47. Am I not mistaken? But there also, from what I understand, there are plans to bring. From what I understand, now, I don't know for sure, but the scuttlebutt is there are plans to bring more stuff to Xbox. So, for one, you will get helicopters in the fall from the sim, from Asobo. So they are coming. So that's kind of a good lead-in to this lesson, is that it's about what's here now. This is about what we have now. I'm starting with the R44 because 2 reasons. One, it's free, so anyone can play with it. 2, it's the closest to an R-22. So an R-22 is probably the biggest training helicopter in America. The Bell 47 is also a fantastic one to learn on if you want a real challenge. No helicopter on Xbox Marketplace yet. Oh, Joe Bob 87, I didn't realize that. I thought the 47 had made it. I thought they figured out a way to get the 47 on there. I'm wrong? Oh, well, it's not the first time. It's almost the first time, but not the first time. So, the 44 has got great flight dynamics if you find the right combination for yourself. And I'm going to kind of get into that in a moment. Oh, you're on Xbox as well. Okay. Yeah. I'm wrong. Color me wrong. That's okay. It isn't the first time. So let's see. What time do I got? Oh, I'll just hang out here for another minute or two before I start getting into the specifics of stuff. All of these are going to be available on YouTube after. I mean, they'll be available for a while on Twitch, but then they'll be available on YouTube after that. So this will be just for those on Xbox. It'll still work when you get helicopters, because I know they'll come. There'll be some things that you probably won't need to do with helicopters on Xbox, but yeah, the reason I thought the 47 was on Xbox is because it's in the marketplace. So I thought that once it's in the marketplace, you could get it anywhere. That was my thinking. Apparently, I was wrong. So here we are in Montana. It's a beautiful day. Let me see what my weather is doing. For training purposes, I'm going to start with a fairly nice day. A fairly nice day. We'll go with scattered clouds. We'll go with that because I want the minimal amount of wind to start with, which is another great thing about a sim. You can have any amount of wind that you want. I mean, that's a great training feature. In the real world, you have to set personal minimums for yourself, and if you get to the airport and the winds are above your personal minimums or your instructor's minimums, it's a no-go. So most of the time you don't get to the airport, but that day is burned. So the great thing about simulators is you can go in here anytime and start messing around. Why is this? Oh, I see. I'm in the wrong camera. I was trying to do this. So let me go ahead and get started and rip through this lesson plan that I have. All I'm going to talk about today is, I'm looking for my buttons, looking for my switches. All I'm really talking about today is real basic stuff, and how to fly a pattern in a helicopter. I'm trying to find the document to open that I want to start with. Here it is, and open that for everyone. Is that going to work? Yes, it works. Yay. So this is the FAA Helicopter Flying Handbook. This is the actual handbook that you're going to use to learn how to become a helicopter pilot if you decide to take private lessons. I'll be right back. There we go. I had the sniffles a little bit. So this is a great piece of gear. I mean, if you want to get a little further into the helicopter flying, this is a really great, well, obviously it's the best book. There are other books too. There's lots of books you can find on helicopter flying, but this is the real deal. So if you stroll through this, oh, this is from 2012. Maybe that's why it's free, but I doubt it's changed. So this is going to teach you it's a technical manual for applicants preparing for private or commercial or flight instructor pilot certificates. You can also get an add-on. If you're already a pilot, you can get a helicopter add-on, and that saves you at least $1,000 over starting from scratch, because you've already got, your minimum. You've already got hours, so you've already built some time flying. So you don't need as many hours if you do an add-on helicopter license. So I'm going to skip forward here to the introduction. We all know what a helicopter is, but this is the fun part. I like this because it has one of the helicopters I'm hoping to get, the Bell 206. There are, as far as I know, there are 8 helicopters available for us on the PC platform. And apparently, ready to learn how to fly whirlybirds. All right, Ensign. Nice. There are 8 of them, 8 freeware helicopters on a PC. Apparently, there are none on the Xbox. That's news to me. I thought there was one. And there are 2 payware. There are 8 total. There are 2 payware, and there are 6 others. There are kind of 4 that I'm going to play around with in the next few weeks. So every Thursday, I'm going to start with a little helicopter practice, and it'll be in a different helicopter every time. At the end of the 4 weeks is when we'll do the H145 because it's a whole different bar game. Are you on multiplayer during the training portion? I'm going to be, Zach. I'm going to be. I just thought I'm going to get to my startup first, and then I'll hop on multiplayer. I mean, I can turn it on so people can see. I just wanted to... No, I'll wait. I wanted to keep a helipad free, so I'm going to hold off just until... But, you're welcome to fly around. I am here. I'm at the airport. I am actually here. So, helicopters are different than airplanes. Duh. Here's how they work. Yeah, okay.
Now, what I have for your starters today is a potato-encrusted scallop with lobster foam. And we're going to top that with some nice creme fraiche.
Indeed. So we are ready to start. We've got our starter. And, okay, Zach. Yeah, I am here, but I'm invisible. So it's not like the other day. What was that, Tuesday? It's not like Tuesday yet. We'll see how it goes. This is has the advantages of helicopters. We probably, if you're watching this, you probably know this. But this is interesting. There's the different rotor systems. We're going to be dealing with the oldest and the most basic rotor system, which is a single tail rotor. This stuff it's good to know what the rotor does, what the mass hub rotor blades is. This is really good stuff to read. So everyone grab this. There's a link in the description of this, and I put it in the scenery. So if you put exclamation scenery, you actually can get a link to this if you want to study more. So here's the main part we need to know to get started. The cyclic moves the blades, the rotor blades. The collective moves the blades up and down. The cyclic moves them all around. And the pedals, the anti-torque pedals, move the tail rotor. So what's cool is, to illustrate that, I made a little video. Oh, closing that for me doesn't close it for you. There we go. Let's check out this little video. And I cheated. Because the Bell 47 has the best animation. I mean, by a good bit. And it's payware also. The best for this kind of rotor system. The animation on the 145 is incredible. So here is the Bell 47. Here it is, sitting merrily on the ramp and getting ready to start. I really just wanted to illustrate this with a helicopter we have in the sim, so you can actually see it visually what we're doing. So here's all the controls. That's the cyclic and the pedals, the collective. And what's cool about this is it not only has a collective, but it has a collective with a throttle, and you can turn off and on the little switch that holds the throttle in place, the governor. So the governor makes it so the throttle is always kept at the right RPMs for whatever position you have the collective in. If you don't have a governor, you have to be adjusting the throttle as you fly. Most new helicopters, you don't have to do that anymore because they come with that little button. This one actually doesn't, but they put it in to make it easier for us to fly. So that is the collective going up and down. That's what it does. It changes the pitch of the rotors. So it changes how the wing is actually working. And then the cyclic moves the swash plate all around. So that's why you feel like you're riding on a basketball if you're in a hover, because you kind of are. You're kind of suspended in space. And then the pedals, once I get back there and get in a better position, the anti-torque pedals change this little buddy here. So this is so you don't just spin in circles. Oh, you can't see it very well, but the pedals are changing the position of the rear rear rotor is really what that is. That's a miniature rotor. So you really can't see it in this video very well, but that's what it does. There we go. So that's what all the different things do. And it might be helpful to know that for people. It's not illustrated here is why I used the Bell 47. I think it's going to be. I was looking through the manual. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. So the other thing you need to know is when you download one of these freeware helicopters or payware, is there's a big learning curve. So read the manual. Go through the manual and read it all. We're going to use the manual, which I rarely do, I admit, on the sim. We often jump in and start flying. And so I'm just going to pop through the manual, parts of the manual, because it's important, if I can get it up. There. No, that's the wrong one. That comes in a minute, but I'm surprised that stayed up. And there it is. So this is the R44 manual, and something to keep in mind is it's 25% complete, which I think is pretty amazing because there's a lot. It does a lot now. Whoops, I went too fast. Read all these installation files, very important. How to use Airland FS. Now, these recommendations are if you've never flown a helicopter. I think those are. If you have flown a helicopter, you can start moving this top slider about. I don't find any reason to move these sliders, but I guess it would depend on your equipment. So a lot of flying helicopters in the sim depends on what you're using, because each person is going to have a different experience. Here's all the different interactive components, which is really good to know. I forget all the time what's what. Some of these things are really visual only, but it's still a great visual, and it's a great primer for when they're not visual only. So the startup sequence is very close. You've got a rotor brake. You've got a clutch now. You can turn a yaw string on. The doors and windows open. This opens the door. It's great. Great stuff. You can open the back door. You can do all kinds of stuff. Night lighting. Here is the normal procedure for startup. That's where we are. That's where we're going to now. Thanks, Intin. Appreciate it. And that's kind of where I'm getting to, is people who are new to helis. And it helps me as well because I forget to go back and look at this stuff. So actually, before we do, what page is this? This is page 10. Before we get to page 10, we're going to go to this page. This is really helpful to know. I think it was great he did this. They might be a little behind on some of these things, but this lets you know that they are going to get this. So the clutch is going to work. The governor is going to work. They've improved the textures already. They're tweaking the flight model all the time. They're always trying to make it better. As Asobo makes it better, they will. The yaw string is here, so that's so awesome. So awesome. Shady Sim, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. External panel inspection is going to be in 4 months. So if you want to do a walk around as you would in the real world, you will be able to do that. Enhanced rotor animation, which I was just talking about, is coming. So you'll be able to see what I was talking about on this, not just the 47. And this is all freeware. Model optimization, constantly improving. Constantly. Warning lights are getting better. They're getting better. Lower PM warning horn. I noticed that is there. The warning horn is there. And the light is there because I was trying to do auto rotations earlier, and the needles don't split. That's more advanced, but the needles don't split, but the light comes on, so you can tell when you're really getting in trouble. Tracy V, thank you for the follow. Mechanical Madness, hello, sir. We are going to some Mechanical Madness scenery in just a bit. As soon as I start this and watch everyone fly around and do a better job than me of flying the circuit. So I am going to move this over. I don't think it'll make any difference for you. I'm going to move it over for me. Let me just check now. I'm moving it to a better position for myself. There we go. And I'm going to go through this. Let me make sure. Nope, you can still see it. Great. Doesn't matter what I did. Good, good, good. And I'm now going to start the helicopter. So this is a really good checklist, which I often skip. I am not a big fan of the InSim checklist just because it kind of takes away the immersion for me a little bit. So I can't see what you guys are saying in chat now. So if I don't respond to somebody, it's because I'm doing 3 things at once. So first thing, very important. I made this mistake earlier. With the Bells 47, it also has an external program. And with this, do not open the Airland FS before you're started, because you will be flipping all over the airport. So with the Airland closed, I can check my controls. It's actually the second thing, but I'm doing it first before I turn on the fuel shutoff. So everything is free and correct. Fuel shutoff valve on. That's number 2. Rotor brake disengaged. Mixture full rich all the way in. Which I can't see. Oh yeah, I remember. I can't see that mixture unless I do that. So there we go. Mixture all the way in. Landing lights off. Well, that's interesting. Okay, it is. Navigation lights off. Avionics off. Clutch disengaged. So all that is off. So that's right here. Nav light. Clutch. What else did it say? Navigation lights. Avionics. All this is off so that you don't mess up your electronics when you start the engine. So now I'm going to read this first because this goes fast. You actually go through this kind of quickly. Not one at a time. So you turn the master battery switch on, strobe light on, you clear the area, you turn the ignition key on to start, starter on light out, clutch engage within 5 seconds. I've never done that. I guess I would need to be faster on that if they ever make it super realistic. Alternator switch comes on, oil pressure 25 psi within 30 seconds. Navigation lights on, landing lights as required. Avionics transponder on, doors closed. Connect Airland FS connect and running. Airland governor active ticked. Rotor and engine RPM in green. So that won't happen until you start Airland FS. Let's see how that goes. Let's just see how that works. Strobe light on. Here we go. Come on, come on. Strobe light is this, and that's so people can see. There's someone in this helicopter. They're about to get started. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this red button and get rid of my passenger. Sorry, ma'am. She's gone. So, is the area clear? No. There's a bunch of people standing around, way too close to the helicopter. Well, too bad. Sorry, folks. Okay, now we have ignition turn on. Okay, we start it now. With your mouse wheel. I don't hear anything. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't turn the master on. There we go. There it is. I may have to adjust the volume because it's a little noisy if I'm trying to talk over it. Wonderful sounds. Pretty sure these are the sounds by Zach. I think they're included now. If they're not included, I downloaded them. So now we can close our door. And we can open this for some air. Keep the air flowing. The clutch was supposed to be engaged within 5 seconds. Oops. Oil pressure is down here. So it's there. It is in the yellow. That's where it needs to be. The alternator needs to be turned on. And this will bite you. If you don't turn the alternator on, you will lose it. Nav lights on. Yaw string on. That is that little string right there, which I think works. I think it's the best thing for knowing if you're coordinated or not. Right now, this is fun too. If you're not using this, or you just want to be more VFR, you can just shut it off. So I'm going to shut it off for today. Now, the low RPM light is because Airland is not on. So we're going to switch screens now. You've downloaded the latest audio report, but it's invisible to me. Hey, Scruffy Tam, what is going on? Nice to see you. For today, I'm not really going to be able to do a lot of troubleshooting in the stream, but if you go to RotorSimPilot Discord, it's a great place to figure that stuff out, because likely as not, someone else has had the same problem as you. So head on over to Discord, and there's a lot of troubleshooting there in the R44 spot. Yeah, people are loving your podcast, Scruffy Tam. So good to see you. So now, I got to switch my docks. Is that right? Switch from there to there. There's Ireland FS. So I'm going to start Ireland, which it's not actually... Oh, it is started. Oh, I could have had some problems. I'm surprised I didn't. So you'll notice there's no aircraft loaded. There's no file loaded. You can't see all these files that I'm going through, but I have a ton of them. So I use R44 Blue config by Fred right now. This is the one I use so I don't look like a complete moron after going through all this stuff and saying I can fly a helicopter. It'll say. So once you load it in, it actually says exactly where it is and who did it. And there are a lot of them available. So if you're just starting out, I recommend really starting at about 50, but you can go all the way back here and it'll fly like it's on rails. You won't really need pedals or anything. I'm up here where I think is reasonable for not having any anything other than visuals. So it's another thing about flying in a sim. Visuals are not how you fly small aircraft like this. You use what's called seat of the pants feeling. You've got it on autoplay 24/7. Nice. I'm restarting sim to see if it fixes the invisibility. It could, yes. But definitely check out RotorSimPilot Discord. And actually, there's probably a place in the Microsoft forums as well. So I put on Spring Cyclic Relax because when I don't click that, this has a trim. This uses trim, and I don't want it to use trim. So and I do have a spring on my. Well, it's not a cyclic; it's a control stick. It has a spring on it. So I put that Spring Relax on. It's actually been a huge plus. Huge plus. So I'll turn on, I'll see who's here now. Let's hit this. Oh, so we will be on Southeast Asia again today. Back to Southeast Asia. I may never switch again, ever in my life. Anyone that was here Tuesday knows that story. Multiplayer is on. We're all good. We're happening. There we go. There we are. So I'm just going to move over to... Now, why does the governor say... Oh, I forgot. The governor has to be turned on now. So there's a governor down here, and that needs to be turned on. That's another feature that they've added. They've had it a while. I just don't fly this every day. So there we go. There we go. So we are not going to do the hover today. We'll get into that probably next week. But you have to use hover for a moment or two to do everything we're going to do in any lesson. So I'm just going to pop over to one of these gigantic hover control. Oh, there's Inzin, there's Dano, there's Dipe. I'm going to hop over to one of these gigantic hover circles. There's no on either one, so I get my pick. So I'm going to take the front one. And we're going to just talk about the basics. Now, when I learned, you could slide the helicopters around, and that was the way I learned to hover. I started on the ground, and I slid around and around until I was confident about how everything worked. And then I got up into a hover, and I did that. So we're going to do it a little different. We're going to do it more like real-world training, which starts with flying around. Your instructor will hover, which is why you want to turn down the realism part. Airline window is still visible. Thank you. I was just noticing that. Thanks for letting me know. So It's too bad. Everyone missed this amazing landing right here. It was probably the best helicopter flight that's ever happened on a sim, but I had something in the way, so you couldn't see it. Saying thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. Oh, and that reminds me, there's another thing I'm going to do here before I keep going. I'm going to turn on the... So this is going to look really weird for those flying along. I'm going to turn on...
It's only a game.
It's a what?
Why do you have to be mad?
Oh... Cover blown. I'm turning on my recording software or my replay software because the only way, of course, in this sim to do replay is if you have a software. I'm using Flight Recorder, which is available from flightsim.to, and I'm just going to turn it on so that we can... It's a great tool when you're learning. It's an awesome, awesome tool to see what you're doing. Look at all those guys in their awesome machines. All the awesome helicopters here. Nice to see everybody. Game, what? Exactly! Mr. Scruffy Tam. And we know, see, Scruffy used to be a gamer, but now he's a simmer. Now he's a simmer. He got better. So anyway, we will be doing some hover exercises here. But for now, I'm going to do the pattern work, because in the pattern, you're in a hover, you can do kind of a short hover. You're doing ascending, climbing, turning. You're doing trying to get a standard rate of speed and a standard height, which I always am a little bit low in the hover. You should be between 500 and 900 feet. I'm always a little under that. So what are we at now? We're at 3,200. So I should be at 600 feet or above for pattern work, which, by the way, you'll almost never do after. What is the game that the magic voice speaks? Yes. What is this game the magic voice speaks of? Huh? Well, we don't know. Don't know what that is. I'm obviously serious, and I'm a serious flight simmer in my flight simming uniform, simming it up. So I'm gonna do this once. I'm going to watch the replay, and I'm going to see if other people want to do the same thing, see what you think. It's a really good practice, I think, as a beginner, and even a great refresher. I do this all the time when I get updated helicopters or aircraft, almost any aircraft, but I don't hover with other aircraft. So what I suggest, if you've never flown or the hover is really not steady, we'll fix that next week. But don't spend a lot of time in it. You're going to need some right pedal. So, oh yes, let me back up a little. Actually, let me do this. There we go. That's better. And fix that. So this is the best way to see my controls, really, because the time is going to be better. There's no delay. And I will put on, need to adjust a few things. My Shift C is not working. There it is. So here you'll be able to see my altitude and speed a little bit easier. So in this helicopter, because of the way the rotor spins, you're going to need left pedal. I said right pedal, that was wrong. You know it. So on a real one, as you lift off, you feel it. Like you can totally feel it. And you'll just put it in as you lift off. But in the sim, just have some in, and you'll be in good shape as it is. And maybe give it a little more than you need to just lift off, so that you get some height right away. So you're not just in a hover. And as soon as the quicker you start moving, the easier it's going to get. At about 40, you're going to go through Transitional Lift, which means you're transitioning from the hover into forward flight. Whoops, I'm sorry. Talking, getting off. And I'm going to use the runway as my spot. So I said about 600 or above. So I'm just going to make right turns because I'm using the runway as a guide to cruise around. Going to be just past the runway, so we can buzz the tower. Here's a little bit of wind. Another thing about these helis and Airland FS is it's not 100%. Oh, you're sitting beside me. Nice. I missed it. Missed that in the chat. I hope you're right beside me now. So that's a good altitude, and I don't want to get much over 80 for the pattern work. It's not about going fast. Quick stops will also be done. When we do quick stops, I propose we use the Huey. The Huey is famous for the quick stops. Every Huey movie you see, they're doing quick stops every time. So here we are. My spot is over there. I already can't see it. I'm past it. But I'm going to go to the end of the runway, give myself lots of room. Because I was in the second pairing of hover pads. Shady Sim, how's it going? In the R44. DB Bowman in the R44. Now, these are slow, so we don't tend to fly these on our group flights a lot. And they're difficult. They're difficult. So I'm keeping it at 80, keeping it nice and steady. And as I turn base to final, because I'm kind of tight in the pattern, so I'm turning base to final. And I'm looking for my spot. It's way out there. I don't even need to slow down yet. Ooh, there's Red Heron, there's Zach, back on track. So see those yellow spots down there? Try to make those. Second one of those. There's the first group. So I should be at about 60 as I approach. That's a big problem I forget about, is I will approach too fast almost every time. You want to take it easy if you want to make a nice, smooth landing. There we go. Oh, but we can't see you. Is that the deal? Nice, smooth landing. So I want to be right on that H. See, I'm doing good. This is what we want. We don't want to stop until we're right there. Ooh, that's good. And then, as you land, you have to put collective in, which is power in a helicopter, sort of. You have to bring your collective back in to cushion your landing. You can't just come down and land, or you will smack this thing. You will smack this payment. Smack-a-doodle. So when I do the replay, the controls are all funky, right? The controls will be all spastic because of the replay motion, but you can still see what's going on. And I can zoom in and out, and I can do all kinds of things. So that makes it fun. So let's check out the replay. Let's see. Yes, here we go. And I will start thinking of, let's see. Here, we will start here. There we go. Getting more like a typical Flights with Joel. Oh. I closed something I shouldn't have closed. There we go. Bring that down there. There we are. And open my replay tool. I didn't put the replay tool into my software, so you won't be able to see it. But it's a flight recorder, and I hit stop recording, and there's it shows me where I was. So when I load this, actually, let's go outside. When I load this, the helicopter is going to jump when I go back to the beginning, because and I think it'll jump for everyone in the sim as well, because it'll go to the spot that I was. So when I hit replay, there it is. But then I'm going to pause the replay and move closer to where I got off the ground, so you don't have to see me sitting here. And we'll just see how I did. Here we go. Flying the pattern. I don't think you see... Oh, you do. Look, you do see the other people on the flight. That's great. Iceman. It's the Iceman. I'll be taking off any moment. There we go. So it gets off the ground at about 15, 16 inches of manifold pressure. So you want to give a little more than that to start out. Wow, today, this is actually very smooth. Very smooth. And you can see that I'm constantly moving. Something I forgot to mention that is the most important thing about flying helicopters. Two things. This helps you see that even sometimes when it looks like you're all spastic, it's not too bad. You're not doing too bad. So, first thing, practice. First three things. That's the main thing if you want to get realistic about a helicopter. It takes a little time. great thing about the MSFS helicopters is they all have a beginning mode. They all have a way that you can jump in and start flying. Every single one of them. But I've got it set on, you know, pretty high up, advanced. It's in the advanced setting. Oh, look, I can see everybody flying around. And it's fun to watch yourself as you practice. Watch yourself back and see how you did. It's just a fun way to do it. If only there was a tower view, right? There kind of is. I go back here. Oh, there is a flyby, but I always forget what key it is. I'm making it. I'm not using the flyby. I'm faking it. So here we are. We are at just under 80. 80. Oh, just over 80. We're at 83. I'm trying to maintain 80 knots and a steady altitude and heading, which it does really well. I hope my feet are off the pedals at this point. Begin my turn at the end of the runway. I know that the helipads are way back there. Way the heck back there. So get my visual. Where are they? And once I have it spotted, I'm using the helipad, which is the second setup there. Now I'm using that second helipad as my point of reference. So I want to keep that point of reference in sight as I slow down and start descending. So you're slowing and descending. You want to be around 500 foot per minute, which I was doing for a second there. I had it for a second. 500 feet per minute, about 60, is a really good approach in just about any helicopter, unless you're trying to be, unless you're trying to do a quick stop or you're trying to drop off troops or something like this. In most cases, you want to bring it in slow, nice and easy, keep the passengers happy, or in this case, keeping the instructor happy. Oh, let's see how the landing goes. Let's watch from out here. Because that was a pretty smooth landing. So I'm still adjusting. I should be right over the H at this point. This is where it went bad. I should be right over the H and about, I don't know, a foot above it. So I'm behind the H and I was a little bit high. And there it is, flying the pattern. Excellent. Now, is that scruffy tan by me? And now I have to end the recording. Stop replay. And I'm in the same position as when I started replay. So I might use that replay a little later too. Have some fun with it. It's always fun. Oh, I just realized I had lost my stream, so people were saying stuff. No one was saying anything. Great. I didn't miss anything. People were riveted. So anyone else? Anyone want to give it a try? Starting here, starting where I'm sitting and doing a little loop around, I will follow you. This is what I'll do. I'll follow you around. So if anyone wants to come over, start here and do a pattern. And the 47 is a harder one to do it in. So it would be fun to just follow some helicopters around. Anyone interested? Oh, there goes a couple. Okay, there's a couple. I'll always follow these guys. Oh, see, they're going fast. They're just taking off. Like jet fighters. Ah, that's Red Heron. Red Heron and Smitty. Very nice. Whoops, I'm getting too fast. Now, doing this in that R44, depending on your settings, can be really challenging. The great thing about the R44 is that the pedals work throughout the speed range. Okay, I think I'm right. I think they're right in the middle of me. There's one on each side. But you have to keep the R44 coordinated to get your best experience, to get the best flight. And so that's a lot of fun. We are usually doing planes on Thursday. Is this Thursday? It is. And he's cutting in fast. He's cutting in early. He's already on the ground. I guess he wasn't doing what I was thinking. All right. Let me see if I cut it off. Oh, now I'm getting a little bit of frame rate difficulties again. It must be all the helicopters. Oh yeah, we had this trouble the other day. It's coming back. This is why I did the first round on my own. There he is. He's right on the first one. Ah, very good. Look at that landing. He's right on the H. Right on the H. Right there. Very nice. Super good. Anyone else want to go for a round? I'll see if the drone can follow you. Anyone want to get in here? Once I get a HOTUS, I'll have to watch this again. We're posting this to YouTube, right? Yes, I am. I am gonna. Oh, are you trying to do it with a non-HOTUS? You're trying to do it with airplane gear? It's very difficult, but I have seen people in here that do it with. Just hanging out here for a minute. See if anyone else wants to do a fly around. No one's interested. It's all the usual guys. They know how to fly helicopters. If you're trying to use a yoke and throttle, yeah, it's extremely hard. Not the same at all. Like not even a little bit the same. Yeah, it's difficult. Makes it hard. I can't imagine personally, but I did. I flew forever with just a joystick. Joystick that had a throttle on it. That's the key. If you're just going to go for the minimal joystick with a throttle, that works fine. A HOTUS works much better. I just added a throttle. Huge improvement. It's so much better. So much better. So we will just do a quick, whoops, wrong button. Shady Sim, can't get rid of low RPM light. There is a, whoops. What am I doing? The wrong thing. That is what I need to do. So there's a governor, gave up using yoke. There's a governor down here, right here, and that gets rid of the low RPM light. You can't really see it on the end of your stick, but it's there. You see that click spot? If you click that, that'll get rid of the low RPM light, and you'll be ready to go. So you have to turn the governor on now to get it to work. You've tried before, gave up using a yoke. Yeah, I can't, but you know, like I say, I've seen people, oh, there goes somebody, I'll follow that person. I've seen people do it with their keyboard, which just blows me away. At least that's what they're saying. Somebody did a race circuit using their keyboard in a helicopter. And I can't remember who did that, but oh, that's Red Heron again. Follow him again. He's firewalling it. He's going. Oh, that's into the yellow. See if I can catch up to him. There we go, almost there. So what we're going to do, once we get back around, I've used up my first hour, there we go, is I'm going to take a break already because I've been teaching, and teaching is really exhausting. Yeah, he's coming in fast, isn't he? Coming in fast. Going fast. Coming in fast. Oh, I'm over the top of him. Slow down. Slow it down. It's really fun to try and film people. Another good way to learn about controlling your aircraft. And here he comes. He's doing an incredible job. And I know that Red Heron has almost the same setup as me. He has a flight stick, joystick, and a throttle. Look at that. He's not getting there early. He's coming right over the H. Look at that. Very nice. I can't believe there's someone here from Hover Control. That's so cool. Right over the H. Right over the H. So if anyone is watching and wants to practice for next time, we will be doing hovers. I'm thinking of picking a more challenging helicopter to hover in. Although this is challenging. Can you shut down and start up again? I want to see it's done. You want to see how it's done? Well, I did the startup at the beginning. I can shut it down before we switch. So you can watch the replay for the startup, or you can check out, there will be a YouTube video as well. And it does have a really good, the shutdown is sort of the opposite of startup. The shutdown and startup are kind of fast. Try out your old check ride. Yeah, no kidding. I might try that out at the end, but it's I'm trying to do this a little more like what I've seen helicopter schools do. I actually read a syllabus from a helicopter school, and they had none of this stuff. So I'm going to try, but we are going to do the hover lesson. We are going to do the hover practice. So hover practice is pretty easy. You are just hovering around here. People can practice this for next week. And it'll be the same thing. I'll go through a little bit of stuff. Info. Then you go over this way. You're trying to stay close to the ground. Yeah, Inzin can probably do this backwards, knowing Inzin. That's the, if this is too boring, you can do it backwards. So, whoop, there's the second square. Shut up and concentrate. Then you go to the next square. And you want to hover over each line for, a second or two. But yeah, if people want to do check rides, someone should set that up. You could go to my Discord and set up a check ride for people. Or RotorSimPilot's Discord, or Height Performance Group's Discord. I think people would love it. I know people would love it. And that's basically the hover exercise. That's basically what you do. Hover around that area. I can still kind of do it. Does it feel realistic as you fly helicopter, similar to flying helicopter in real life? Boy, that's a long and involved conversation that can go on all day long. Can't find the click spot mentioned. Well, I'll show that click spot again. It's right here. Like, it's hard to find. That's my mouse. See, it's right there. You can't really see it, but it will turn into a finger, and you click right there. And that's partly why I wanted to do this, so I could try and answer some questions. Shut down and start it up. So, no, I think it feels realistic. Here's the difference between flying in a sim and flying in real world. Everyone is different. They're going to have a different experience. Everyone has different equipment. They're going to have a different experience. Everyone has a different idea of what a helicopter should feel like. I've heard from many, many professional pilots. All of them have a difference of opinion. The guy who designed this is a pilot. The guy who made this, RotorSimPilot, he is a pilot. He flies helicopters. He flies this helicopter. According to him and the one who designed the software, it is realistic. I've heard many people say they don't think it's realistic. What's really missing in a sim is your butt. You fly aircraft by feel as much as anything, and all we have is sight. So if you get into VR, it's better, right? You're more surrounded, but you still don't have, unless you have a motion platform, you still can't feel the aircraft. So in my opinion, it's as realistic as anything else I've flown, and I've flown sim since Flight Sim 98, or actually before. I've flown sims a long time. I've flown helicopters since at least the FX 98 at least. So yeah, I think it's realistic. But people will argue with that all day long. All I know is that we do helicopter flights twice a week. Actually, more than that. But between the people here, we do helicopter group flights all week long, and they're a blast. We do one on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on RotorSimPilot group, and Iceman does them on High Performance Group Discord also. So we have such a good time. Lopez family, hello. You think it's really good for being in a sim. Remember when my first flight on a Jet Ranger after hundreds of hours in the sim. Oh, nice. Because I had the same experience when I flew an R-22 after spending so much time, in the sim. And actually, all I had to practice with when I flew that R-22 was the, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name of it. The Jet Ranger for FSX that was so nice. The DodoSim. The DodoSim is what I used to practice before going on a flight in an R-22. And the instructor thought it was great. He thought it was fantastic. So I'm going to shut this down and start it up because someone asked, and I don't mind doing that. So shutdown is pretty simple. You go here, and a lot of these things don't work 100%. They're not there yet, but they're going to be. You can watch the beginning. You can watch the replay for what I'm talking about. So nav lights off. I leave everything else pretty much on, and then we pull the mixture, just like in an aircraft, all the way back. And right now, it shuts down pretty fast. And then you can shut everything off. Alternator, battery, clutch, master battery, and the key. Whoops, that's not the key. There it goes. Key. Come on. It's not shutting off all the way. I won't worry about that too much. Then you would shut off the fuel and the rotor brake, which they will have all these things working as per realistic. Rotor brake off, and then you can open the door and get on out. Found the spot, low RPM, real. Oh yeah, that's. Do you have Airland FS running? I said I wasn't going to troubleshoot, but I'm spending a moment here. You only did travel and outdoors for streaming my state on all the snow we're getting right now. Oh, nice. Nice. What HOTAS do you use, Joel? Oh, I'm actually using a Thrustmaster throttle. Thrustmaster, which I just got. Is that coming up? Yes, it's coming up on the screen. And I'm using a Cyborg Evo stick. So it's not exactly a matched HOTAS. I'm seriously considering getting an F-56 if anyone has any opinions on the X-56. The difference between an X-56 and a Thrustmaster, etc., is a lot. So I'm not sure about how big a leap I'm willing to take. And people have problems with everything. You've been looking infos for helis in this game about realistic it is, and you just answered my guess. Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. And, you will get a different... It's just an opinion, too. You'll get a different opinion from everyone. But many real-world helicopters are flying. Well, if I look around here right now, some of these people actually fly helicopters in the real world. So they could, they would have... Most of them, think it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. So did I shut everything down? I did. So the start procedure. Now that I did a shutdown, I'm just doing this one more time. And then we're gonna jump. We're gonna take a leap. The clutch off. The rotor brake off. Mixture on. Controls free and correct. Oh, you know what? Here's what I need to do though. I forgot about this. To start it up properly, you want to shut off Airland. So I'm going to see if I can get this back up. Oops, that's the wrong one. And that one. So it'll be that one. Okay. I'll bring Airland up when it's time. So do you want to leave airland off for startup. Leave it off. You want to put the strobe on. You want to push the fuel in, which I did accidentally a minute ago. You want to turn your yaw string on, which is right there, if it doesn't hurt your frame rates too much. So my yaw string is on. And then you hit the start. Uh-oh, I did something wrong. It's not starting. I turned the fuel on, didn't I? I turned the fuel on. My mixture is full in. Did I not turn this all the way? Oh, maybe this isn't full in. It is. Oh, my master battery. I didn't turn on my battery. So, battery on. There we go. Now, the same thing with the start. It starts up right away. It just is immediate. And then you have to turn the clutch on within 5 seconds. Well, I already blew that. And you want 24 psi of oil pressure within 30 seconds. Oil pressure is good. Alternator on. Lights on. Other light. I can turn my landing light on this time. Close the door. It's part of the startup procedure. Avionics do not seem to be on. Did I not turn them on last time? Oh, they're over here. Avionics are... I didn't turn them on earlier. So that's why I didn't make radio calls. Avionics. There we go. And if you want a passenger, you can hit that. That little button right there brings the passenger up. Many more tricks. Many more things. We have floats and we have doors. So there's floats on, doors off. Boom! This is the R44 Lopez family too. This is the R44 from RotorSimPilot. So look at that. Now everyone has floats because I turned the floats on. And it does float. It absolutely floats. Yeah, isn't that sweet? That is a lot of fun. So now you start up your airline. I'll just go, I mean, this is definitely worth going through a second time. So airline comes up. There we go. I just started airline, but I have to reintroduce it into my docks because every time it's off, it into my software. Where is it? Oh, it doesn't want to come back up. I keep having this problem. There it is. Okay, there we go. Okay. So my airline is here. I load a profile in because there's nothing in there. If you read, you can configure it so that a profile will come up, which I thought I did, but it didn't work. So I'm using a Robinson R44 Blue V1 by Fred, who developed airline. So there are several others. If you have better equipment, you might want a more difficult, a more twitchy version. This one's pretty smooth and it's pretty fun. I bought extra. Well, it should. There's no reason it shouldn't work with Thrustmaster pedals. Absolutely. Absolutely. No reason at all. Yeah, all those things work together pretty much. There's no... you don't usually need... Oh, this isn't picking up the same because it has floats on. Ooh, wow. Oh, and also, I know what I did wrong. Hold on. This is good that I accidentally left my... Good that I left my airline up. Because what I did wrong was I forgot to click spring cyclic relax. So I'm relaxing the spring on my hardware, and so it just works better. So now when I lift off, I bet it'll work. Yeah, smooth as silk. So here's one of the helicopters you have available, the UH-1 Huey, which I think flies like a dream. What else we got here? We have an R44 doing the exercises. We have an R44. Everyone has floats on. Over there is a static H135 and a static... Oh, even the static R44 has floats. Well, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? So look at all the R44s.